everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is Wine Library TV. So I'm super excited. We got a big fan in the crowd today, so I'm going to need to be a little bit more focused and a little bit more on top of my game. That being said, we're going to be focusing very seriously on some premium California Cabernets. We did Cabs the other day, and I got tremendous response, but people were kind of bugging me and urging me to do some of the better California Cabs we have in the shot. And you know what? I really went with a different little angle here. We've got a couple that you might be familiar with, but two towards the end that are premium that I'm not so sure many of you had in the past. You know, as many of you know, California Cabernets are probably the biggest category of wine consumption amongst the $30 to $50 drinkers at Wine Library, hands down. Bordeaux has come on a lot with the hype of 2005, but this is clearly still the place us Americans feel comfortable with. It's hometown, USA, USA, and you know, we yell at other countries for doing things like that. It's very ironic, isn't it? However, we are very, very excited to try these wines, and I think we've got a couple of gems in here. I have not had any of the four wines. I'm just double checking what year is this. I've not had any of the four wines. I did have older vintages of all of these wines in the past, including virtually every vintage of Turnbull that has ever come out. So I am excited about jumping into the 04 Turnbull. Other than that, I want to mention lurkers. I've got my eye on you. You've been watching for free, may I add, and yet you continue not to comment. And just because I'm in vacation right now, just because I'm on vacation right now, you know, sailing along, don't think I'm not paying attention. And I really need you to come out, please. And if you email me personally, little side note, you know, like those commercials where the guy talks real fast from Micro Machines, by emailing me directly does not take you out of lurker status. You need to leave a comment. Other than that, t-shirt contest is very close. Look for that. And if you like me, dig me. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to focus right off the bat with probably the most known of the bunch. This is the Chalk Hill 2003 Estate Cabernet Sauvignon. It's 48 U.S. bones, 94 points, wine enthusiast. And obviously Chalk Hill, much more known for its Chardonnay than its Cabernet, is a winery that gets a lot of respect, especially on the restaurant end. And obviously so many wineries want to have tremendous restaurant presence. So Chalk Hill gets tremendous distribution. Now this is 100% estate grown. And let's talk about estate grown for a second. You'll notice it says estate grown and bottled. Many California wineries actually buy their grapes from other vineyards or have leases on some great vineyard sources. And so I think it's something for all you people that are just getting into wine or into wine for a long time. It's a fun little tidbit. Let's call it a fun fact to look into when you look at wines to see if a wine is estate grown or not. And if it's not, know this, they are purchasing the grapes. And that's why when you see bottle variation or even vintage variation from year to year, it could be the simple reason that a wine has lost its contract to a certain source of fruit. And when the source of fruit is exceptional, a lot of times, eventually, the owners, the growers, will make their own wine. So enough with that hoopla, enough with the education. Let's get back to a little fun. And fun is drinking vino. So let's get right into this. Really nice color, dark, everything you'd want out of a Cabernet's color. Let's give it a whirl. Beautiful cherry cola coming on. And cherry Coke was one of my favorite styles, though I'm a much bigger lemon and lime guy. That's really coming through very obviously on the nose. I get a nice charcoal-based flavor. There is a little oak. I wouldn't say the oak monster is in the hizzy, but there's clearly some oak. Very powerful nose, very, very rich. Again, 94 points, wine enthusiast. Pretty big score. Let's give it a whirl. Extremely firm, attacking tannins, very structured on your mouth, bringing a very dry coat on your overall palate. Beautiful dark cherry flavors, no doubt. A little fakey cream, I want to call it like cherry cream sauce on the finish, because I'm getting that creaminess, that vanilla aspect. The oak is starting to do a number on this wine towards the finish, and there is a little bit of that heat bomb. You know, kind of when you take that really nice shot of Grey Goose, there's a little bit of that heat. You're kind of getting that with Chalk Hill, which is throwing me off a little bit. I'd like to see it a little less than that. The alcohol content is 14.8. I think it's riding a little high on this wine. The fruit is not covering it. Yes, it's a very extremely young Cabernet, and these wines were not breathing that long at all, so that could be a component of it. The bitter tannins are definitely a problem. Overall, this is a wine that I do not agree with the wine enthusiast at all on. At the end of the day, to me, this is an 89-point wine. It's a solid bottle. I mean, for $48, let's give this a major pass. Give me 10 Z's. Mott, give it to me. Z, 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 Z. I mean, this is a complete pass in my book. For 48 bones, you can buy a good case of wine, let alone a bottle. So we're going to have to move on from this effort. Not a good start to the Powerhouse Cabernet episode. Turnbull should turn around. This is one of the most consistent wineries in all of Napa Valley. Ooh, look. Estate grown. 2004 Turnbull Cabernet, 34 U.S. clams, 95 points. Connoisseur's Guide of Wine to California. Connoisseur's California Guide of, it's a long name, but California's Guide to California Wines. Connoisseur's Guide to California Wines. There we go. Finally got it. Connoisseur's Guide is really one of my sneaky favorite magazines. They go by puffs. I mean, how can't you like a magazine that says a wine that gets 3 puffs is the best thing since sliced bread? How do you like this wine? It's puffy. I give it 3 puffs. So, you know, any magazine that is willing to put itself out there and rate with puffs is a good friend of mine. 34 bones. Turnbull is one of the beautiful places in all of California. I love their land. I love when I go to Showkit, we can always look over and look at Turnbull's estate. They make really good wines, and for a long time, some of the best values in all of the valley. Back when California cabs were exploding, and people were dropping Benjamins on Insignia and Mondavi Reserve and Opus One, there was Turnbull sitting on the shelves for $20, and it was a really amazing buying opportunity with the 91, 94, 95 Turnbull cabs. It's creeped up a little, but let's be honest, 34 bones is very conservative. You know, in this scheme in Napa Valley, it's kind of, you know, like, okay, you drive a BMW, but everybody in your neighborhood drives a Bentley. So, you know, they're doing a good job keeping down their price, and I give them kudos to that. Color is obviously not lacking at all. Let me give you a little. There you go. It was actually a lot. It wasn't even little, was it? That was like $6 worth of wine. Or at least at a restaurant. This is actually only 34 bucks. Yeah, I can drink it up. Let's give it a whirl. You know, this is what I've always loved about Turnbull. It has a gorgeous morning breakfast jam flavor to it. It's got enormous purity and explosive fruit. I always think of a bed and breakfast when you open up like the 30 different flavors of jams, them all coming together on the bouquet. That's exactly what this smells like raspberry, blackberry, blackcurrant, cherry, strawberry. You know, like they're all little jars that, you know, like grandma takes and puts in her bag and wants to steal. And you're like, Grandma, don't do that. That's what this kind of smells like. So let's give this a whirl. This wine is bringing the thunder. This is what's right about Napa Valley Cabernet. This is how Napa Valley Cabernet got here. I mean, we can't keep bashing it when it's widely considered some of the best wines in the world. This is that perfect balance between real and fake. And that's not even fair. Pure, because it's not fake. It's got tremendous extraction of fruit. What's really riding here is a purity of strawberries and cherries. Really, this is more of a red fruit wine than a black fruit. There's not as many blueberries or blackberries. This is mainly about the cherries and the strawberries, and I'm not complaining. A beautiful tobacco flavor on the mid-palate really transitions to a long cedar box finish. And so I'm really impressed by the craftsmanship of this wine. Its overall structure and complexity really reminds me more of a $100 wine than anything else. This is top notch. Let me just give this one more little shot. This is good. This is seriously good wine. I like this wine a whole lot. I'm going to score this wine 92 plus points. And for me, for a $34 Napa Valley Cab to be scored at this level, really to me is like the best Cabernet in the world. I mean, they're just so tough. Well, let me rephrase that. The best Cabernet in this country. Napa's tough. Napa's gotten expensive. And kudos to Turnbull for being able to convert and create such a quality bottle of wine for under 35 bucks, which makes me think that, me and Michael J. Fox are hanging out and we went back 10 years because this is what made Napa great 10 years ago and got what everybody's so excited about it. And so many people have sold out and have gotten to that $70, $80 range, and it's really unfortunate because they still stay in that $30 quality. Kudos for Turnbull for giving us $60 quality for 34 bucks. Let's move on. Luna, 2004 Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, and this is aged for 20 months in French oak barrels, and the bottle's real heavy. I mean, one reason you might want to buy this is if you've missed your workout in the morning, you could take this to the office, and while you're typing with one hand, you can do, dumbbells with this. I mean, it's a pretty heavy bottle, pretty impressive. $49 US, 92 points Wine Spectator, 91 points Stephen Tanzer. So we have, two major critics agreeing that this is a plus 90 point wine. So I'm going to give my 2 cents because I always require you to do that for the show. So I'm going to give my 2 cents on this. It's 14.7 alcohol content. Again, no bashfulness in color. Completely dark, very dark. Very intriguing nose. I actually think of it as the first thing that came to mind, and I'm gonna have to stick with it because I'm that kind of guy, is like pine cones being dipped in chocolate milk. It's got a very foresty aspect, and it's got that creaminess from the oak and a little chocolate. So really the analogy that popped right in my head is, you take a pine cone and you're dipping it in your chocolate milk, and the bunny rabbit from Quick is like, what are you doing? And you're like, don't worry. That's exactly what's going on here. Let's give it a whirl. The oak monster has made his appearance. And this is what always scares the bejesus out of me in California Cabernet. And you know what, Luna? You reminded me. Off the excitement of the Turnbull, Luna came right back and smacked me so hard in the face with so much oak that I'm not so sure I can recover. I am going to apologize to the Jocelyn because my palate is in complete culture shock right now, like it's walked into the wicked, wicked forest of oak trees. I'm at a lack of words for how Stephen Tanzer and Spectator, feel that this is a plus 90 point wine. This is really the issue in California. These wines are getting over-oaked, and this wine is no exception. Yes, there's some bright fruit. There's some nice blackberry currant flavors going on. It's got a nice finish, but even the finish kind of disappears. I'm really not even tasting it anymore. And guess what? In this instance, that's a good thing. I totally disagree. I'm not even going to retaste it because the oak is so powerful and so menacing that I can't recover. So, that being said, I'm going to score this wine 86 points. I'm totally not appreciative of the over-oakification of this wine. And most importantly, if it was structured kind of like a fruit bomb and had some other things going on, I'm a forgiving guy. I'm a good chap. But this is not that. This is just pure oak in your face until it's almost like a sleeper hold. Until you're like, 1, 2, and then you know how Hogan would fight and kick out of it? I can't kick out of it. I'm going down for 3. This is way too oaked, and this is a major pass. Let's move on. And again, 50 bucks. I mean, I'll go outside and bite a tree for free and get the same experience. Unacceptable. Let's move on. Jocelyn, be careful. This is the Jocelyn Vineyard Select 2002 Napa Valley. This is 66 US, 93 points. Robert Parker, the man, the myth, the legend, widely considered the best critic in the world. And I'm excited about trying this. I've been a huge fan of a lot of the Jocelyn wines in the past. I think they've done a great job bringing the thunder. And I'm excited about finishing this off with this. Now, this comes from the Tocalone Vineyard, which is a very famous vineyard, and I'm noticing also as well that this actually is a blend of 21% Merlot and 2% Cabernet Franc, so we're getting a little bit of that Pauillac aspect. You're getting that Bordeaux kind of blend with the predominant levels of Cabernet. Let's give it a whirl. Nice and dark. Color is never an issue for California. It's like blonde highlights for the Hollywood. I mean, it's no issue. Color is not an issue. So this has some oak as well, but I'm not as fearful as the Luna. It's not completely in your face, and it's also integrated with really nice, rich, kind of like black currant flavor, which I like a lot. This is more dark fruit, unlike the Turnbull, which was more on the red fruit side. Let's go dark fruit here. We're going to go blueberries, blackberries, black currant. Also a little hint of cedar box, which I like on the nose. Not bad. Not bad, but I'm a little weary, as you can tell. I mean, maybe I'm scarred by the Luna, but let's give this a whirl. You know in like class when you had like the class clown, and then you had that other kid in class who was like the class clown, but he always like went overboard, like would more or less make fun of people, get into detention, just didn't know how to play it. You know, just didn't have the final polish to be the perfect class clown, and went more towards like the jerk off. Do you know what I mean? That's Luna. That's the jerk off. Jocelyn is walking the class clown. There is oak. There's a good amount of oak. But what the oak monster is doing is, it's almost like we shot the oak monster with a tranquilizer. He's calm. The oak here is calm and integrating beautifully with blackberry and blackcurrant. Overall, I really like the mouthfeel. Very explosive, very rich. Does it get a little too oaky for me? Yes. Does that mean it's probably right on par for most? Yes. I'm very sensitive to the oak, as you know. I feared the monster. However, overall, the tobacco is really pure. I think of it as a Pauillac on steroids. It's almost like a French Bordeaux on steroids. It's really, that's what it is. It's like Barry Bonds went and played in the French baseball league. Overall, I like the roundness, the lushness of the wine. Nice and dry, good firm grip, but I have to admit, a little one-dimensional in its flavor. Good fruit, but some of the tobacco and cedar box and the other things that I kind of thought were going to accompany this wine kind of chilled out and kind of stayed home and didn't go to the beach. Didn't come to the party. And so at the end of the day, I find this wine to be a solid 90-point wine. I think Parker's overboard on this wine, and there's just no way I see this being better than the Turnbull, even though it's twice the price. Overall, I think the Luna needs to be left on every shelf you ever see it. The Jocelyn is just probably a pass at the end of the day. It's a nice bottle of wine, but for 60 bones, 70 bones, it's a pass in like 200 milliliters. This, you need to go out and act like you're trying to find that Power Ranger for your kid, which you know what that means. Choke out the person next to you, make sure you get a bottle of this. And the Chalk Hill was fine. I mean, nothing inspiring. Again, probably the only wine I would go with is the Turnbull. Question of the day. Where are you on your Cabernet ladder? Everybody has a Cabernet ladder. Cabernet is that grape. Are you in the beginning where you're only drinking Cabernet? Are you at a place where you drank Cabernet, you were off of it for a while, and now you're back, which is the end? Or are you in the middle where you actually started with different things and you're actually on Cabernet? Where are you on your Cabernet ladder? Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, aren't we?